What would your reaction be if you saw a topless person out on the beach? Notice how I didn't say a man or a woman, and that's the important thing I'm going to discuss here. This video is about top freedom, this persuasive speech. And to get a better understanding of it, what it's done, what it's doing, what it needs to do, I've done some research on some various articles about the subject. I know this is not the biggest issue in the world, it's not even the biggest issue regarding sexism, but it is something I want to cover. I don't believe it should just be swept under the rug and accepted as a part of daily life. A man could go around shirtless, but not a woman in some places. So that's why I'm going to tell you why the idea of top freedom is a good thing. I will explain the motivation, legal issues, and how to move it forward. As explained from Heavy.com, top freedom has a large following across various countries of the world. Men and women alike, they have one main motivation to it: equality. And it doesn't even have to be women going around topless, it could also be men being required to cover up their chests as well. The end goal of them is not to have breasts out in public so much as it is to have men and women being treated equally. In fact, the Heavy article has a quote from top freedom activist Rael, who even goes as far as to suggest that women not having the same legal standard as men goes against the spirit of the United States Constitution. That's the main element of it, to be free and equal, and to fight against laws that are not. But speaking of laws, that's when things get complicated. I got a map from Time.com that goes over each of the United States by their legal stance on female toplessness. The most important thing to note about this is that green does not mean it is completely legal. According to Time, you could still be arrested in a green state if you go around shirtless. The 3 red states, on the other hand, do mean that it is completely illegal. Green, of which there are 33 for those that don't want to count out every single one of them, simply means that it's acceptable to some degree, and the orange states have not reached any clear conclusion to either fall under a green or red category. And according to Time, even if it's technically legal, you could still be arrested based on region or through police that either need to be reminded of it or are just simply abusing their power. Even though the map is mostly green, I still find that a little concerning, because it shows that it's not just a legal issue, it's a social issue as well. That even if the law technically says female shirtlessness is fine, the country as a whole would say otherwise. That there's a deeper rooting to it than what a judge would declare. However, like most unequal standards, this is something that can still be changed. You might have heard of a trend or even a stereotype of protesters going topless for their cause, even if it's not specifically about toplessness. According to the Culture Trip, this has already been spreading successfully. It's upfront, but it's focused on taking away the taboo of female toplessness and making it seen as something normal. In other words, just like male toplessness throughout most of the world. In fact, according to the Culture Trip, this started picking up as recently as 2016 in some countries, in their case, South Africa. So it is definitely something that's still ongoing as the world in general becomes more and more relaxed at showing more skin. The main question is, how would we move this on ourselves? I want to make it very clear that I'm not saying that go jump out into a protest. I absolutely do not want to be the one convincing anybody listening to this to put themselves in possible harm's way over this subject. The easiest step I can give is instead to just be casual, to start with that. Think of shirtlessness, body coverage, and the like from an equal point of view. Talk to others and get them to think. Like said in the Culture Trip, it's not about being sexual, it's actually about the opposite, taking away sexual connotations of a woman's chest. Like said in Heavy, it's about being equal. And that is just some of the reasons why I'm in favor of top freedom. I went over what it's for, what complications it's facing, and what you can do to get around these complications or to help dissolve them. And again, while it's not the biggest issue women face, it's still an issue, and it's also one that's prone to a lot of misunderstanding, so I wanted to clear a few things up.